Hello YouTube. It's Wednesday, August 17th, pretty late at night, 11:46 p.m. I've misplaced my iPhone. I know where it is, but I can't reach it. So, shooting on the Obama phone, which always seems to shoot better video at night from the little dash mount thingy anyway. So, yeah, if anybody's been trying to reach me via phone, or via text message to my phone number, yeah, I haven't been able to reach that phone for, I don't know, a day and a half, 2 days-ish. I'm not sure how the hell I'm going to get to it. It's fallen behind the head of my bed. Somehow it landed on the floor or the headboard or something with enough force that it's bounced it underneath the bed, and I'm reaching and can't get to the goddamn thing. So I know yesterday I was able to hear it ring and heard it occasionally making noises like somebody was trying to reach me, but yeah, I can't, even when I call it, I can't seem to see, like I can hear it's under there. It's definitely under there, you know, but I can't even really see light emanating from it to give me a clue of exactly where it is under there. So that kind of sucks. In other iPhone news, so I don't know, it's been a few days since Priscilla finally got all her clothes out of my closet. At least I think she got all my clothes out of my closet. She got most of it out. Now, she had got it all out of there, I want to say, over a month ago. And I was really relieved about that. And I had done some laundry, and I'd put a bunch of my clothing away. And then I'd come back to see that... she had... Well, actually, it was after that. She's lying in bed with me, and or maybe she walked in the room and I was in bed, something like that. And anyway, she asked if I was okay. Oh God, I'm trying to wake up. I feel like I've been asleep like 2 or 3 days. I don't know. I'm a little off, to say the least. I went through another one of my heavy depression. What do you call it? Heavy depression. Hibernations, which I really shouldn't be doing that right now. I know that's not good for me, but I don't know. Sometimes just things get to be too much, and I just shut down. And I'm wondering if it's something I should be talking to HR at Amazon about. Now, I've been lucky enough the last 2 days. Tuesday night and also tonight, I've been able to catch VTO. So at least I'm in good standing with Amazon, which I think is what like I remember going through some pretty heavy depression not long after I started the job, and I think I was catching VTO every time I was going through it then too, you know. So that's why I think I had such a good attendance record prior to this month. I mean, I'm still nowhere near being in trouble for bad attendance, but anyway, it's something to worry about. Wow. So I got it looks like I got all the knobs in such a way the air conditioning should be on, but my air conditioning doesn't seem to be coming on. Wow. I really thought Rob had fixed that, and just over the weekend, I think it was, I gave him like $310 towards that. And yeah, it is definitely not blowing cold right now. I mean, it's not like hot outside right now, but it's, it's Phoenix in August. It's not particularly cool either. Oh, Del Taco doesn't appear to be open. Yeah, there's no sign they're open. I don't know what time they close here. It doesn't appear open though. Should really get some food. Priscilla did bring me a sandwich late last night. Like really late last night. Some come out. I'm not feeling Del Taco right now anyway. Damn, no, my air conditioning is definitely not blowing cold. Wow, that sucks. I can't fucking believe this. I can't believe after fucking 3.5 weeks with no car and supposedly having my harness rebuilt that I'm just, yeah, it's like warm and humid and not nice is what's coming out of there. Fucking great. You know, I just figured I might get into a better space if I just get in my car and turn on the air and go for a little bit of a drive. I thought that might put me in a better space mentally, but so much for that. Yeah, it looks like my lens is dirty on my phone. Anything handy to try to clean it with either, so it's just gonna have to stay that way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm kind of surprised I woke up and Priscilla wasn't there, which sounds stupid on my part considering how much I've been bitching about her being there. I'm frustrated that she's there. So I guess yesterday or last night she managed to get all the stuff out of her storage. She was on a deadline for emptying her storage. Apparently it's not too cold or not too hot outside because I opened the air and I feel it getting colder in here. It's 11:53 right now, so almost midnight. One thing I did do before I started the video is I actually set the clock on my radio and my dashboard because trying to remember to add 3 to whatever it said on the fly was a lot more difficult than it should have been. I don't know why my brain just doesn't deal well with multiples of 3, especially if it takes the number over 9. Carrying the 1, I don't know, just pops my brain when I'm trying to do it in real time, and especially if I'm trying to do it in real time and drive and talk at the same time. Anyway, it says 11:54. I do believe it's 11:54. I think I have a thing I can do on my phone. And the phone says 11:55. Oh well, that's how accurate my car clock always is. I think there's a way to set it to the second. Like there's a thing that says set, but I don't really know how to properly use that. And all my attempts to properly use that have I think always failed. This thing keeps shit time anyway, so I mean, I seem to, I do good to get it within the minute, which I think it sort of is now, and then because now it's saying 11:55, and cell phone just says 11:55, but then it takes, it's usually within a couple of days that it's, not within a minute, and it's like occasionally, usually within a minute, but sometimes 2 minutes off, and eventually it gets to the point like it was where it's like I need to add 3 minutes or add 4 minutes to the time shown on my dashboard to be correct. And I find that really puzzling because I've never had a digital clock on a car stereo that doesn't keep time before. But I guess it's just a testimony to what a shit stereo the stock stereo is in this Saturn, which is really disappointing. Like it doesn't sound good. It sounds okay at low volume, but it has no power. You try to turn it up, it just sounds like ass, and it doesn't keep time. And the CD player is shit itself, which is it's a major step backwards. It looks like Burger King is closed too. Imagine at this point I'm limited to places that are open after midnight because it's like 3 or 4 minutes to midnight. Yeah, my first Saturn had when I was married, had it kind of came with the wife. I had a 2001 Saturn SL2. Absolutely loved that car. And car stereo in that thing, I don't remember the clock ever being off. In fact, I feel like at one point I had that thing set to the second and was able to, and it maintained it being to the second, as confirmed by, the clock on my cell phone. And yeah, I am crazy OCD about that sort of thing. I just like to know exactly what time it is. In fact, that's one thing I actually really appreciate about being at Amazon, is that all the actual Amazon clocks, not to be confused with the ones that are like gray with the black letters, those are not Amazon clocks, and none of those are particularly on time. Some of them are closer than others, but none of them are accurate. But the ones that are around the building that are black with red numbers on them, those ones are locked on Amazon time. And then of course all the time clocks where we punch in and out, and all the what we call the time clocks where we punch in and out. Yeah, I was thinking I should pop in here and try to get my I think I'm still going to do it, try to get my since it's almost another day, so I'm like 2 or 3 minutes off of another day, I should pop in here and try to get my sip and save drink, because I'm pretty sure that resets at midnight. I didn't get mine for yesterday, I don't think, but I think I can try to get mine for today quick. I got some randos standing in the middle of the parking lot, just standing. So weird how people do that at the Circle K. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it running because this just seems to be a tradition on this video at this point. And I'll be right back. That is the same person who was begging for me the other day. You happen to have $1 to spare? No, I'm using cards. Hello. Well, Clerk was cool as hell. Hell, you might have even been able to see it the way the video's facing in there. I asked him if he could ring me up for the 7th save as soon as I got in the building. It's almost midnight. I'm trying to get today's drink. I haven't got it yet. He did it. So, yay. Grabbed my other food after I got out. Got one of these old Danishes because I like them, and I haven't ate. Priscilla. Oh, excuse me. Priscilla brought me a sandwich from Castaways last night. I'm not sure what time of night it was, but I feel like it was pretty late. I feel like it was pretty late. Probably. Phoenix does not have a law which requires headlights on bicycles, so I always got to watch out for homeless people without headlights on bicycles roaming around in the middle of the night while they're out doing their pilfering. That guy was carrying a lot of shit for being on a bicycle. Yeah. The fact I only have one working headlight isn't helping me either. Keep forgetting that's something I need to take care of. I have no right headlight. Try my air conditioning one more time. I'm pretty sure it's dead. Oh yeah, there is no cold air coming out of here. Fuck. Wow, that just sucks. So I want to say, I can't remember if I did a video coming home from my Monday night shift or not. I'm pretty sure I did not. Monday shift, I've already covered this, whatever, I'm gonna be redundant. Monday shift wasn't good, wasn't awful. I showed up pretty late. I think I clocked in at like 9:15. So, hour and 15 minutes late. Still need to make that adjustment in my time, so I get 15 minutes of PTO as opposed to being credited with being 3 hours late. That way I only use the UPT of 2 hours late. Gotta remember to do that. I didn't do that shit with my fuck-ups last week, and that didn't help me any. What I should really be doing right now is just be on Indeed.com and ZipRecruiter.com and Monster.com putting in job applications, but I've been mostly just laying in bed with zero desire to wake up. Now, granted, sometimes I have woke up, and for the most part, when I have, I just find some kind of YouTube video and just let it be background noise until I can fall back asleep. And the only thing that's sticking in my mind from what I've been looking at and hearing on YouTube is that Liz Cheney got primaried by a landslide in Wyoming. So, yeah, good riddance. Kind of made me sad that I wasn't that I'm no longer a Wyoming voter and couldn't have been part of that. But obviously, Wyoming voters took care of that. So, yeah, bye neocon rhino. Anyway, wow, that as much as I just spit on that Danish, it didn't really fill me up much. I'm still hungry. Also bought a little package of nuts. I think they were on sale. I'm not 100% sure. So, for those unfamiliar with Circle K always has almost always has this like little discount bin that is kind of near the register. It says discounted manager special. And generally it's stuff that the store or the manager has decided that they're not going to stock anymore, just because the item wasn't moving well in that particular store. Or sometimes it's stuff that's nearing its expiration date. That happens as well. But usually just items that are being discontinued at that particular store or being discontinued by Circle K in general. Sometimes seasonal items, like stuff that was like Easter related. That's where you find the Cadbury cream eggs the day after Easter, which are delicious. I have no problem with buying those the day after Easter at half price. I kind of look for them then. I wasn't even thinking that I was going by the cheapest gas station in town right now. Now that there are places that have been regularly showing up for under $3.99, I'm kind of curious what this place is charging. It's close. He's at $3.49. Yeah, that little gas station I just passed on the right there on 20th Street in Osborne. For those who don't know, tends to consistently be the lowest price gas in Phoenix. Definitely been watching a lot of videos about homelessness, particularly ones about homelessness in Phoenix. That's probably not doing my psyche any good. Which reminds me, on the last, I didn't really finish how things were going with me at work yesterday, because I don't think I did a video coming home from work. I got there 2 hours and 15 minutes late, clocked in, was just like the whole time, just had really, the voices in my heads were not saying good things. Just everything was very negative. I was miserable to be there. I mean, I couldn't even, I was struggling to go through the motions at work, let alone, kind of work energetically. Now that said, me as a line loader, even to the point where I'm like in a bad state of mind like that, I still think I'm a better worker than probably a third of the people there. Even when I'm in a fuck this job, fuck this life kind of mood, just because, I don't know, I still find that I'm working just to try to keep my body going, and I definitely noticed like a couple of the definitely noticed like one of the women that works there. It's a darker skinned black gal I find very physically attractive, but I talked to her briefly yesterday, and I don't generally talk to her. And a little bit I talked to her, like the way she kind of came off, and then just kind of being a little more noticing of just how badly she, like what her work habit was, like kind of whatever attraction was that was there, it kind of killed it. I noticed what she was doing. Like when I'm like, I will bounce PID lines when I'm working, and generally speaking, when I do it, what I'm looking for is I'm just trying to be as effective as I can. Like a lot of times I'm looking for tall pallets of goods that people have taken the plastic wrap off, and left unsecured to where they could easily fall down. Oh, and last night I definitely saw one pile of boxes go crashing down. It wasn't that close to me, but the fact that I've been mentioning this to management, and management is not mentioning it to anybody that's in the habit of doing it. And I've noticed that some of the people that do it are people that have worked there for an extended period of time. Like the message isn't getting through, and I'm to the point I'm tired of mentioning it to people because they just look at me like I'm the idiot. Meanwhile, their boxes fall down like on the regular. So, I don't know. But I can't make Amazon care about it. So all I can do is continue to actually, as much as I don't care about the fucking job at this point, I still care about large piles of unsecured boxes being unsafe. So I still keep an eye on that, and I'll generally move to, if I see one of those, I'll generally move to that, downstack that above anything else, just to kind of keep the area safe. Okay, the lens on this being all funky is bugging me. I'll try to wipe it down here. Oh, that looks much better. That looks better. I am super curious why my AC worked so well for so long. I feel like it's been like a week and a half since I got the car back. And now, suddenly no air. I'm sure Rob's not going to be too thrilled about it. Part of me is thinking I should just tough it out and have a car with no air, but I fucking hate having a car with no air. I don't... In Phoenix, I don't consider air conditioning an optional thing in a car. Just absolutely don't. Anyway, sorry, trying to talk about my workday, the last workday I had, which was Monday night. So yeah, what I noticed is so I kind of bounce around, and I try to, I'm always trying to get the lines that are overflowing. Generally, if I'm in an area, I'll just sit there and work whatever comes down. But one thing I do try to keep an eye on is if, as I watch the conveyor for every PID line where I'm manually loading stuff for pallets, there's also a line that connects in fluid, where they're emptying directly out of trucks that don't have stock on pallets. And so I'll try to keep an eye on the conveyor where I can see the stuff joins to the line I'm throwing on from fluid. And anytime I see where I see that package just start, that I'm seeing packages, I'll generally finish the pallet I'm on. I don't like to leave pallets unfinished. But yeah, as soon as I finish a pallet, before I move on to another pallet on that same line, I generally always check to see if there's stuff coming down from fluid. If I see a steady stream of packages on the conveyor belt coming from fluid, then I'll change lines. I'll also change lines if for some other reason that 2 or 3 other people have started joining me on the line I'm throwing on. At that point, I'm like, yeah, I'd just rather be on a line by myself. My preference is definitely by myself. Unless it's somebody I actually enjoy talking to, but that's not. And most of the time, even people I do enjoy talking to, I'm just not. There, I just don't feel like it. A lot of times, especially if I'm in a pissy mood, which I really was on Monday night. Anyway, that one dark-skinned black gal, I noticed her deal. And to be fair, I mean, she's pretty thin and kind of petite and pretty young. So, the fact she's even sticking out this job, I guess, is saying something. She looks like somebody that should be out cold digging and finding a man to pay her way. Oh yeah, I've been watching a lot of red pill and black pill make out videos as well, because that's kind of where my head is at. Anyway, I was gonna say. So kind of watching her and noticing that what she seems to do is whenever she finishes a pallet, she walks to a different line and tries to find a pallet with small light boxes. And then when she finds one that's got small boxes, she'll take all the plastic wrap off of it. So again, creating, and speaking of like unwrapped pallets of goods, the ones with small boxes are always a bigger risk of crashing down than the ones with big boxes. I mean, if you got like pretty much the largest boxes, you'll have 4 boxes to a pallet. Whenever they get more than 4 boxes to a pallet, generally speaking, they're going to be the boxes are going to be too big to be thrown on a PID line. Although I did hit a pallet the other day that had three boxes per layer. And that might have been pushing the issue. I don't know that I really walked over to the measurement things and checked it. I think I was just like, yeah, whatever, and threw it. I'm like, let's see if this causes the line to get stopped. Ha ha ha. Fuck these people. Anyway, yeah, I did the what do you call it? I did the anyway, so yeah, small boxes on the other hand, I mean, yeah, they're you got 4 boxes to a layer, more than likely you've only got 4 or 5 layers on that of those boxes on that pallet. So they're large, they're going to stack on each other, they're going to be more like, unless they're kind of rounded on the edges or they're crooked for some reason, more likely those are going to be stable even if you do take all the plastic off. Not that I'm cool with that ever, but considerably less of a risk than a pallet that's full of small boxes. As the small boxes are, they're small boxes. They're not getting as much structural support on their own, just being piled on each other. Oh yeah, and we still got panhandlers here at the intersection. Indian School and I-17. Some guy on the left side flying a sign. One of the homeless videos I saw was all of this area. I forget what channel it was. I'll try to link it in my description. But because it's definitely one I spent a lot more time in the comments sections on than I actually spent watching the video. And I thought it was kind of weird that nowhere in the description or nowhere in the title did he mention that it was Phoenix, or did he even mention what part of Phoenix that it was in. But it was all near here, all pretty much along 27th Avenue or I-17, or nearby, and all between I want to say probably Thomas and Northern. And to try to act like the people that are homeless in this part of town are the same as people that are homeless in other parts of town is pretty disingenuous. This area more so than other parts of town is fentanyl. It's the fentanyl zombie zone. So, and he didn't mention anywhere in his video. He had no narration. He just put some sad music in the background. But yeah, like trying to make it sound like homelessness in America. And I'm like, no, that's fentanyl junkies. That's fentanyl junkies off 27th Avenue and I-17 in Phoenix. It's really not the same as the homelessness problem plaguing the United States. It's a completely separate sort of problem. Anyway, yeah, I had kind of fun going through a lot of the comments of people asking, God, what's wrong with these people? And a lot of times I just responded with a one-word answer of fentanyl. But there were some people in the comments that did recognize it as Phoenix. Anyway. Oh, and yes, I am headed to what you call it? Bullocks, because it seems like a good place to be right now. As depressed as I've been right now, I think it will do me good to be around some familiar faces and maybe sing a couple songs. anyway, trying to explain the work habits of this one woman. So yeah, she would undo all the plastic off of a pallet, and then start throwing from that pallet like slow as possible. Like for me, I like it when I come across a pallet of goods that are light, that are light, small boxes. I mean, for starters, I'm ambidextrous, so I can work with two hands at once as long as the items are small enough that I can lift them up with one hand. And then on top of that, like a lot of times when you've got small boxes, there's ways to pick them up where you have like 4 boxes that are side by side, and you can press the 2 on the outside edge, and you can press the 2 boxes on the outside edge, and you can lift 4 boxes at once, and just grab 4 boxes, drop 4 boxes, grab 4 boxes, drop 4 boxes, and blaze through a pallet like that just super fast, and which will radically pump up the numbers for that line, and get the department closer to its goal like really, really fast. In fact, it was like the very first night. I remember the very first night that I was as a pit driver, was actually unloading freight, which was kind of it was a night that felt really good, because it felt like that, like I just overheard a couple of the managers talking about how, oh God, we don't have any pit drivers, and I'm thinking, well, I'm a pit driver. I don't really have any experience unloading freight yet, but I mean, I'm pretty comfortable at the controls. I've been loading wood for a couple of weeks. Like I'm here. I've got a forklift right there. What do you need? And at that point, I guess what set me apart from the other more experienced pit drivers is the fact that I have been throwing on the line, but I also tend to chat with the management and understand like how the numbers game is played, as far as how many cartons, how many items, how many pallets, so on and so forth, and what goals we're trying to get, and how quickly certain types of pallets can be moved and unloaded. And when I went to a door, like I was kind of working hand in hand with Victor on trying to get pallets that someone who actually cares about trying to hit goal, which clearly not this dark-skinned woman, can. At the time, we used to put them at the end of the line. Now, I don't know who's decided that that's a bad thing. Now they keep deliberately putting different things to act as obstacles beyond at the end of the line, so nobody can load from the end of the line, which is asinine and stupid. And I know some of the management is, mid management is, or lower management is, also thinks it's really stupid, but it just kind of is what it is. Particularly Victor, because that was something he would often do to pump up numbers. Victor, who recently got promoted to being a PM, which is awesome. I mean, I feel like he's been doing that job as long as I've been in the building, so it was awesome to see him finally get his orange vest. But his orange stripe vest. Anyway, but yeah, that particular night I was kind of working hand in hand with him, and I had a radio too, which I don't normally have a radio. So every time I found something that was going to pump numbers, I'd be on the radio. I'm like, I got it. This is Dan, I got it. And we were like juggling. I was keeping one lane open where I could quickly get stuff behind the safety gate so he could close it and grab it and roll with it. And sometimes he'd pass it to line loaders that would, unload it quickly. But yeah, anyway, so what this woman was doing was exactly the opposite of that. Like she'd find one of those and then she'd one box at a time, pick it up and walk it across to the line, set it on the line. It's like, really? Because I unload big, heavy boxes faster than that. God damn. Why are you here? And I've heard that sometimes that when they have people that are so clearly slow, because there's nothing tracking an individual person's productivity in inbound at all, I don't think. And I've heard Amazon has a habit of taking people that are like that and moving them to other departments where their individual productivity will be measured. Now, granted, we don't have pickers at our location, but that's one position that's notorious for that and has got a lot of flack on the internet. It's negative flack on the internet. And it's basically people being judged by the amount of items they pick and it being an unfair metric. And I don't know. I've never done that work. I've never even been at an Amazon facility that does that, but I can see where it's likely is. On that note, I've never really noticed anybody being held to an unfair metric at GYR3, or, you know, not feeling that they can go to the bathroom or get water when they need to. I've never encountered that. And I definitely see some people that abuse that. But anyway, I've definitely heard of people being sent to UIS or I think decant, and I don't really understand how either of those departments exactly work, but apparently both of those, like you're standing in one place and you're measured by how many items you put in bins or take out of bins or whatever. So, yeah, I've heard that people that are not productive in inbound sometimes get trained and moved to those departments where their actual work can be tracked, as opposed to them just, you know, if somebody actually notices. And I tell you, if I was an AM, I would be for moving this woman, because of like noticing yesterday just how bad her work habit and ethic was. And mind you, this is while I'm at a point of like, fuck this job, fuck this life, and it's still bugging me like how much of a slacker this woman is. Yeah, she's just one box at a time, slowly on pallets that she could just see unloading lightning fast. And anyway, so when she'd unwrap one, if the boxes were remotely heavy, she would leave it unwrapped and go on to another one, which of course is a safety issue. Like, you unwrap it, you need to unload it, and by the way, you're only supposed to unwrap it down a couple of feet, and then unload a couple of feet, and then move the wrapper down. Like, how do you not know this? But yeah, she'd straight up walk away from them if she felt they were too heavy. So I did find I was constantly kind of following her, because I was, you know, I'd be like, somebody needs to downstack that before it falls down. And I'd often be that somebody. But yeah, she, God, I'm feeling gross and sweaty, and I'm not sure. I don't seem to have a... Oh, come on, turn on light. A napkin I can wipe my damn face with. Looks like there's recycling behind me. It's not staying closed very well. I'm determined to make an all-nighter out of the night. I've been in bed way too long. I think it's 7 a.m. I'm going to be down at my storage, working on my recycling, and just working on my storage. I do feel bad that whenever Priscilla gets home, she's not going to be able to message me. I mean, I think this phone is logged into Snapchat, and maybe I should log into Snapchat and message her, but I think she runs her Snapchat. Like, I think she's got Snapchat to where it doesn't give her, like, I think she's disabled all pop-up notices on it, so I sent her a message on Snapchat, like, she finds it when she finds it, if she finds it, as opposed to getting a pop-up notice like you would normally get with a text message or any normal messenger app. Yeah, I can't text her right now, not from this phone. And the phone I can't text her from is buried under my bed somewhere. Anyway, yeah, so this woman would just walk away if she felt they were too heavy and just leave the tower of boxes ready to fall. And then I found she would also sometimes in the middle of throwing, like, so of course one that has small boxes will have a lot of boxes, so she'd just take an obscene amount of time working on this one pallet of small light boxes, and I'd find that she would not, like, she'd leave like a third of the way through a pallet. To be fair, I only saw her do this once. She'd walk away from it, which again was alarming me, because it's like, wow, this could still topple over easily. But I guess she was just walking to go, get more water. Let's go get more water. I generally never go to get more water until I finish a pallet. Anyway, she seemed pretty perturbed with me. She didn't say anything. She was giving me that look. But yeah, I watched her. I was throwing directly across the lane from her. So on the next PID line, but on the opposite facing side. Generally speaking, like, when they assign us to a PID line, it's kind of the management, they kind of expect us to stay on the PID line, which would mean if you're throwing on one side of it and everything's done on that side, or everything's been worked on by other people on the side, that they seem to expect you to walk around and throw on the other side of it. And I get that's kind of what they're going for. Most of the time, just because it's more productive and wastes less time and energy, I will immediately start, like, if there's nothing to do on the one line or it makes sense to go to the other line, I'll start throwing on the next line over on its opposite side, just because that's right there. And in my head, I've kind of been calling them each, especially when I used to when I used to regularly work the back end of the lines, picking up pallets and just organizing stuff on the back end. I'd call those lanes, which nobody calls them that but me. But anyway, so I just work a lane versus working a line. So anyway, that's kind of what I was doing, my usual, because I was working next to her, and then she came over and I just kind of bopped to the other side. So I'm working on the next line, same lane. And then I noticed her just walk away. And it's kind of bugging me how slowly she was unloading that pallet anyway. And then I noticed that she walked away from it. I'm like, and wasn't even unloading them like all at levels. Like she was like, it was all like really piled high and narrow on one side, and then she'd taken the boxes off the other side. So it's just extra precariously not stable. And I walked over there, and in the time it took her to disappear and go get water and then come back, I probably threw over half the pallet between where she had walked away from it on and then, but when she came back and started doing slow-mo on it, it was just like, I just kind of looked at her funny and then I walked away. So she seemed perturbed that I had taken away what I think she was planning to use to kill, an hour of time, an hour of work time I had made go away in just probably, well, I want to say mere minutes, but it was probably about 8 minutes. She was gone getting water for a while. Anyway. So at one point I wanted to get to, and I want to get inside the bar, and I'm like sweating. It feels like a sauna in here. I can't believe my air conditioning is out again. One positive thing came out of it. By lunchtime, I was so depressed. I was honestly thinking about just clocking out and leaving, and just taking the UPT, because I was just so that depressed, and then being surrounded by people that were just like not even fucking doing a week excuse of working was not like making me feel any better about it. And then then anyway, so I'm walking. Anyway, it was after lunch, maybe about an hour, 40 minutes after lunch. I had to do a bathroom break, and I had to walk all the way to the front of the building because the restroom that is near me, the men's room, only has one stall, so it's not unusual for that one stall to have boots under it. And I've kind of learned the hard way that it's just like, I walk in, if I see boots under there, I don't know if that guy's going to be in that stall for 2 minutes or going to be in there for 30 minutes. I've had a couple times where I've gone in there and I've waited and I've waited and I've waited, and then an AM has walked in, and I'm sitting there by the sink like using my cell phone, and they're looking at me like I came to the bathroom to just sit there and play with my cell phone, which is not what I came in to do. I'm just trying to kill the time while boots under the stall fucking pinches it off and fucking wipes it and leaves, but that doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. At this point, I come in, if I see boots under the thing, I'm just like, yeah, stall is busy. This could be for fucking ever. And of course, he doesn't notice, doesn't bother to ask me, hey, how long those boots been under the stall? About 20 minutes, dude. Maybe we should contact Amcare about that. This guy has a medical problem with his asshole. Yeah. So anyway, So I ended up I went in there, boots on the stall, ended up having to go to the other restroom, which is quite a distance away. Amazon being so worried about productivity, I tell you one thing they could really do to increase productivity is make those restrooms a little bit bigger. So there's at least 2 stalls, maybe 3 stalls. Because it's a good, I want to say 5-minute plus walk. At least a 3-minute walk, 4-minute walk to the restrooms over by the big break room. Times 2, double it, that much walking time. And that's assuming I take a reasonable amount of time in the stall, which some people don't. So, okay, you all want to pay me for 8 minutes on the clock to walk across the building to use a stall because the restroom that's in my work zone only has 1 stall. Like, okay, I guess so. Anyway, I'm coming back from that, and I noticed that Sean, who's like one of the upper managers that I get along really, really well with, I noticed that he's sitting down. Normally when I see him, he's like super busy and handling stuff, so I didn't really want to bug him, because when I first had the forklift incident, I felt like I bugged him quite a bit, and he had assured me he was on it and trying to do what he could to get me back driving a forklift as soon as possible. But he didn't really give me a time. It just, I don't know, everybody gave me a time limit. It made me sound like just be a couple of weeks. And in my mind, a couple equals 2. Because 3 isn't a couple, it's a threesome. Anyway. So yeah, My hair is just getting saturated from how much I'm sweating in this car right now from not having air. Anyway, the what do you call it? Anyway, this seemed like actually a good time to talk to Sean. Like I'm walking back, and he's sitting. I'm not sure if he's sitting at the desk, which is normally, he's either sitting at the HR desk or he's sitting at the safety department desk. But at any rate, he's sitting at one of those desks, and he's the only one there. Like the people for that department's not even there. So I'm thinking probably safety. So he's at a computer, so it's good. Like I know it's like, hey, Sean's got whatever he needs. If he needs to look shit out, what's going on with this? Like the computer terminal's right there. He doesn't seem to be too overwhelmed, busy in whatever he's doing. Well, he's definitely doing something now. Like now's the time to ask Sean, where I'm not like bugging him, but like. And Sean seems to be concerned about actually seems to care about me on some level. So, and Sean also knows that I'm definitely one of the better workers there, but I'm sure there's no way Sean hasn't noticed that my productivity is slowed down and I'm just not very positive and not very present. So, maybe he's gonna, here to listen. And he did. He actually talked to me. He said that he definitely put it in a week and a half ago, put it in himself to have me retrain. He did say there's about a 3-week delay, and he's the first person to tell me about this 3-week delay, so I wish somebody else would have told me. He said between the time that you put in for retraining, there's about a 3-week delay while finance approves it. I'm bewildered that's something finance has to approve, but whatever. But he said I'd be looking at being retrained probably the first week of September. So at least I got something job-wise at Amazon to look forward to. Anyway, I wasted entirely too much time talking about this. Thanks for listening. I'm going to go inside and try to cool off and get a drink and sing a song, try to get in a better state of mind. Thanks for watching.